Okay, hold on. All right, Crimson Tide fans, what's going on? This is yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Just giving you a little post-game update right now from the game here. Crimson Tide sustaining a tough 33 to 18 loss here to Georgia. Just drop your thoughts down there in the comment section. How y'all feeling right now? How y'all feeling right now? It was a matchup where just not Alabama's night, just was not meant to be here. Um, there were some plays that were left on the field that could have been made, were not made. Not having Jamison Williams, not having John Mechie really made a big difference, especially in this game. Losing Jamison Williams there in the first half to a knee injury, that was very painful as Alabama's offense just could not sustain drives, could not get things going. Just the ball did not bounce in particular in Alabama's way, and the defense played well. Pete Goldie and the defense kept this team in it for much of this game. Guys like Will Anderson, Dallas Turner, Christian Harris had a big night tonight. Guys defensively kept Alabama in this game for as much as it could, but the injuries to John Mechie, the injury to Jamison Williams, just that hurt. That hurt, and I wish the best for JMO. Um, Hopefully, it's nothing serious because that young man has a special career in the National Football League. So hopefully, nothing serious there. You got to give Georgia credit, though. I mean, Georgia came out and they played a great football game. I mean, Stetson Bennett, as I've said, he makes winning plays. He made winning plays tonight. I mean, Zamir White, James Cook, they both ran the football extremely well, especially in the second half. Georgia's had guys that stepped up also. So you have to give Kirby Smart and those guys a ton of credit for the way they played, the way they coached, the way they went out there and won this football game for the first time in over 40 years. Georgia's got them a national championship, but yeah, the injuries do hurt. The injuries do hurt here. Let's look at some comments here from some of you guys. Let's see here. Darren Watson saying still going with the Tide. I appreciate that, Darren. Eric Jackson, injuries hurt us tonight. Absolutely. Bama Nola, Road Tide from New Orleans. Absolutely. Coastal Chicken 24. We had a rundown secondary too. Secondary's going to have to get better. Secondary's going to have to get better. They're going to have to make some improvement. Let's see here. Sweet Home Bama 22, Road Tide, tough loss, but great season. Proud of these guys. This was a down year. A lot of people looked at this as a down year, but this team never lost fight, never broke stride, never counted itself out. This team had a never say die attitude. It got to the national championship game, just could not get those bounces there. Sam Aaron, no one can win with those amount of injuries. Absolutely. When you don't have a Jamison Williams, a guy that averages 20.1 yards per catch, over 100 yards per game, that's a big loss. That's a big loss. Thunder, the Barbarian, Stephen, we have a young team. Proud of these guys for fighting. True. TJ Hamilton writes in. Steel Road Tide, be back next year, absolutely. Cody Hurd writes in, next year should be fun, definitely. Eric Judah writes in, we still made it to the big game in a rebuilding year, yes. And, Coach Saban, emotional and just talking about what Bryce Young and Will Anderson meant to this team. What Bryce Young and Will Anderson meant, Bryce was emotional. He took it on himself. Bryce took it on himself. Bryce said, I let the team down. I got to improve. I got to get better. And to see, a young man that put so much into the game, walked away, hurt like that. So I'm excited to see this spring what this team looks like coming up here in March and April because this hurts. It's a bitter taste and it hurts, but this is going to definitely fuel every last one of these young men coming back for next season, starting off here in the spring, but you give the dogs credit. You give Kirby Smart credit. You give Todd Monken credit. You give Dan Lanning credit. You give the Georgia fans credit. You give the program a lot of credit. They came out here. They put their mentality on the field, and I mean, boy, oh boy, I mean, for the first time in over 40 years, national championship here for Georgia. As we're looking at here, that confetti is still on the ground there.
Down there. They still have people.
You still got that confetti down there. But here's the view up here. James Hunt, absolutely. Lack of depth at running back hurt too. Hurt the Crimson Tide also, that lack of running back, that lack at running back. Just here's the view here, guys. Final view. Lucas Oil Stadium. Georgia, Alabama. The confetti right there. Yeah, that was a tough one. That one right there was a tough one. But leave your thoughts right here in the comments, y'all. Yours truly, Stephen Smith, Touchdown Alabama Magazine. Just talking to you guys right now, post game. Let's see here. Bama Nola, J-Mo has a torn ACL. What do you think he will do next year? Definitely recover, try to get better. And you hate that for his draft stock, absolutely, because he's projected, first round pick there. You could tell Georgia was hungry in this game, absolutely, coastal chicken. This team will be exciting to see next year. The team was good this year and will be great next year, true. John H. writes in, this was a rebuilding year and we are conference champions. Edward Cannon writes in, Hall got to work on his hands. Well, you look at J.I. Hall, he's one of those guys that has to step up even more now. I mean, he played in this game, but he hasn't played much all season. So he was put out there in a situation where not as much experience, but now that he's played, this is experience he can build on for next season. And this is experience and a mentality that he's got to bring coming up here in spring ball. This is going to be a very exciting spring ball, people. Spring ball is going to be fun to watch. Let's see here. All the receivers need new hands. There was some drops tonight. Hall dropped some. Brooks dropped some. There was some drops tonight. There were, Georgia brought the pressure through. There was some missed assignments out there. I mean, there were some things that Bryce could have done. Let's see, a sweet home Bama 22 definitely needed more touchdowns than field goals. Yeah, true. There was a moment there. There was a moment in that game where you were up 3-0, and the defense is playing that out of its mind offensively. Alabama just could not move it consistently, could not sustain drives, could not punch the ball in, could not take control of the game. 6-0. Steven, love your commentary. But Bill O'Brien failed, and Nick Saban failed too. Georgia had no offense at all. That's why A. Hall was needed. Hey, I'll say this. A lot of thoughts here on Bill O'Brien. Another situation where, once again, that looking at interviewing for other jobs. Was interviewing for other jobs on Bill O'Brien's mind more so than this game? Got to think about that. Let's see, Sam Aaron, tough to win when we have 0 receivers who can consistently get open. Hall was the only one getting open. Let's see here. More comments rolling in. Deborah writing in. The offense definitely struggled. Eric Judah, injuries hurt, proud routine. Injuries did hurt, but definitely proud of how far this team made it. But it's going to be fun to watch the spring. Is Bill O'Brien the offensive coordinator in the spring? Who steps up to take those receiver spots in the spring, left behind by Mechie and Jamison Williams? I mean, this spring, Eli Ricks at corner. Alabama getting a lockdown corner in the spring. Does Alabama have a healthy Malachi Moore in the spring? And a Moore that's ready to really, really go? I mean, all of these questions this spring are going to be fun to answer. This team exceeded expectations. Deborah, they did. They exceeded expectations. People thought this was a down year for this team. So absolutely, absolutely. We had more what injuries require, but let's see here. Corners never maintain man-ball relationship. Got to get better corners, absolutely. Offensive line needs to be more consistent. Sam Marin, I don't know how many useless screens we ran tonight, but it was extremely bad. Hey, let your events flow right here, people. Let your events flow right here on the post game. On the post game. I believe this game, Samuel Cheek writes, I believe this game would have turned out differently if we still had J-Mo, Mechie, Malachi, and Joe. Good point there. Sweet Home Bama 22. First game, Bama ran tempo offense. Seems like this game, O'Brien moved away from it. And that goes back to where O'Brien is concerned. Was he focused on the NFL coaching jobs? Was he focused on those NFL coaching interviews? That's the question with Bill O'Brien. Was he concerned with those NFL coaching interviews more so than this matchup with Georgia? We'll see. Let's see here. Just mark too many dropped passes. Yeah, a lot of those. Was a lot of those. Was a lot of those. Coastal Chicken 24, Road Tide. Hopefully we will get another national championship next year. The push starts now. The push starts as soon as the team lands back in Tuscaloosa. That's when the push starts for another run at a national championship. I can't wait to get back to Alabama, to jump back on, in my own words, to be a part of you, the Alabama football fans, just to give more of my thoughts from this game. And before I even say anything else, I just want to thank you guys this season. I want to thank you guys for following myself, Patrick Dowd, Justin Smith, John Ivory, the entire TDA family throughout the entire season. I appreciate you guys for following us all season long, for checking out the coverage all season long, for checking out the content all season long. We appreciate you as the Bama fans, as the passionate, hungry, energetic, excited, zealous group. We appreciate you guys. We really do. And thank you for all that you did for us here at TDA, where this season was concerned, and we're going to continue to provide to you the coverage here on Alabama football that you want. Letting your voice, letting your thoughts, letting your opinions, letting your passion here be made known. We'll get back to more of your thoughts here. Groon D writes in, it's okay, boys. We'll be back. Hey, hey. Then we got Road Tide comes in with the Bama haters coming out of the woodworks. Sweet Home Bama 22. Saban will definitely use this as motivation. Absolutely. How do I think the offensive line will look next year? Well, you're going to lose Evan Neal. You're going to lose Chris Owens. Ekiyor and Cohan come back. Seth McLaughlin come back. I want to see one of these guys from the 2021 class. Whether it's Latham, whether it's Brockemeyer, Tommy Brockemeyer, James Brockemeyer, Terrence Ferguson, Jaden Roberts, somebody from this massive haul of linemen for 2021, or even a guy like Tyler Booker, who's in this 2022 class, somebody, step up and take a few of these spots here. But that's why spring ball is going to be so fun to watch here. Terrence Jordan writes in, the turning point was the blocked field goal and Hall being thrown into his first game as the go-to guy. Yeah, that was a turning point. That was a turning point. Appreciate you, Deborah. Appreciate it. That's what we do here at TDA, giving you coverage. Vector 12, we appreciate that $4.99 in the super chats. Appreciate you, Vector 12. Literally want to die right now. Revenge tour starts now. Your content may be all that keeps me here right now. Thank you. Appreciate that, Vector 12. Jalen Milroe could have been used. Jalen Milroe could have been used more. Dwayne writes in, Stephen, how do you leave 3 touchdowns? Hey, Waylon, I'm thinking the same thing. I'm thinking the exact same thing. How do you get in the red zone and not score? How do you get in the red zone and not move the ball? How do you get in the red zone and not cash in? I'm asking these same questions just like you as fans are asking them. And you're looking at Bill O'Brien as if to say, what happened? In the SEC championship game, it was tempo, it was fast paced, it was scoring. 24 points in the second quarter. What happened? What happened? So it's a heartbreaker, man. It's a heartbreaker. Damage Case writes in, I had to work tonight, so I just finished watching our game. Our boys played hard tonight. We'll be back stronger after this. Absolutely. You got to be on this new breed of player coming on. It's all about the process, right? Absolutely. Absolutely. Damage Case writes in. Certainly not doubting the boys. Definitely not doubting the boards. Not doubting the guys' Damage Case. It's just going to be fun to see how spring comes out next year. Trenton Weber writes in, we really beat ourselves and the refs didn't help in the end. There's always next year, my friend. Appreciate Trenton Weber writing in there. Matthew Iverson giving a roll. Todd Will, I appreciate you guys. Latu dropped the touchdown pass. Was almost caught by Brooks at the 1 yard line. These Bama receivers, man, without Mechie and Jameson, this is just not a reading of situation because they were deer in headlights, dropping dimes by Bryce Young. Devontae and Waddle were special. I mean, we said coming in this was a good group, not a great group. A good group, not an elite group. A good group, not a special group. Jameson Williams made it special with him coming in here out of a transfer portal. When you lose him to an injury and when you lose John Mechie to an injury, that is tough because now you're asking a Hall who hasn't played much of any at all year to go out there. And that's a lot. You're asking a Trayshawn Holden who has played some, but not all that much. So it's crazy. It's a tough loss, Matthew Iverson. I appreciate you. Don't say much about all the love you and TDA. Appreciate that. I blame the coaches. Our Weber should have been way more experienced playing in blowout games at least. That way he could have came in the game with rhythmic up. True. That's a good point. That's a good point, baby back Tillery. That's a good point. That's a really good point. Guys should have been playing more in blowout games. That's an excellent point. I agree with that. I agree with that. Continue to roll your comments in here. Touchdown Alabama post-game reaction here from the national championship between Georgia and Alabama. I cashed out against Alabama. All right, there we go. The tweet coming in there. Damage Case writes in, I feel so bad for Jameson. I love that boy. He I'm telling you. And Coach Saban talked about it today. He actually wanted to play in the second half. The coaching staff held him out because that young man has a bright career in the NFL. Hopefully Jeff Allen and the training staff get some stitched up so he can play pro football. Where am I right now? I'm inside Lucas Oil Stadium. Inside Lucas Oil Stadium. Who do you think is taking over the linebacker spot with Henry and Harris leaving? Deontay Lawson and Kendrick Blackshear. Deontay Lawson and Kendrick Blackshear. We have to get our youth more playing time. True. Let's see here. Dick Saban, 70 years old. Absolutely, he is 70 years old. 70 years old. All right, folks. So here's the view from inside Lucas Oil. Here's the view from inside the stadium. Here's the view from inside the stadium. From where I am on this field, on this day. Georgia, national champion, but Alabama will be back. Crimson Tide will be back. All right. Let's see, not enough crimson confetti damage case. Well, because Alabama did not win. That's why they did not have the crimson confetti here. Uh, let's see here. Nothing to be ashamed of. We played as hard. Just came up short. Jim Gallagher, good point there. Red zone offense was the Achilles heel tonight. Bama should have easily won this game by 18 to 23 points. Red zone was a big bugaboo. Could not score in the red zone. I agree with that. They did. They did. They did. Tremendous game by Georgia. Tremendous game by Kirby Smart in Georgia. J.R. Hall, he went in there and had some catches in that game. It's going to get him confidence for spring ball. Just me block. Why do we continue to throw on third, on the 3 and 4 yard line? Preaching to the choir, man. Preaching to the choir. Preaching to the choir. King of Hollingsworth, yep, injuries, man, injuries. King Porter, B-Rob should have got more touches. He should have. He should have. Hacker music, congrats to Georgia. Like they said, you can't win them all. Georgia was ready. Georgia was ready. Georgia was prepared. So you go back to the old statement from Coach Saban, you don't waste this failure. You let this sit. You let this marinate. You let this rotate. And you take this and you use this as fuel. You take this and you use this as energy, as motivation to push yourself, to get every rep that you need here. To get every rep that you need here. This is going to be a big off season for Alabama. This is going to be a big off season for the Crimson Tide. I mean, absolutely, it's going to be a big off season. Andrew Bowen, Trip's been good. Trip has been good. Trip has been good. It's been good. Sam Aaron, we will have almost 0 holes next year. Receivers, plus safety plus receivers will be tough to field, but there is young talent at both positions. Yeah, and Alabama's got to get that young talent ready to ball. Ready to ball. Who would be our speedy wideout for next season? Christian Leary. Christian Leary. You got Christian Leary speed. You've got, who else speed? Trayshawn Holden's got speed. Christian Leary's the speedy one, though. I think another one would be, watch Aaron Anderson. Christian Leary, Aaron Anderson. Also, keep your eyes on Isaiah Bond. He may get in there, too. Isaiah Bond might get in there, too. JoJo Earl is a bit more quick than fast. So let's go Leary, Aaron Anderson, and Isaiah Bond. Yeah, those 3. I think Hall would step up as an outside guy, whether at X or Z. At the top of the formation or at the bottom of the formation, Hall. Let's see here. Eric Owens, Dallas Turner on one side, Will on the other. Yeah. Dallas on one side, Will on the other with Isaiah Bond. With Dallas on one side, Will on the other. Does Chris Allen come back? That's going to be the big question. Does Christopher Allen make a return? That's going to be a big question right there, because if he does, that defensive pass rush is going to be scary if Chris Allen comes back. We're going to see about that. We're going to see if Chris Allen comes back. Jim Gallagher will be back next year. Alabama will be back next year. Crimson Tide will be back next season. Crimson Tide will 100% be back next season. Hey, sometimes you truly can't win them all. You push, you try. Let's see here. Justin Riley from the Justin Riley Network. I talked to Bo Scarborough, and he is not happy. I know Bo ain't happy, Justin, because Bo wanted B-Rob touching that ball. This one hurts. This one really hurts, but hats off to Georgia. Hey, does J-Mo still have another year? He does, but I think he's going to go to the draft. Need that offensive line to come together in this offseason. Marone and Bill O'Brien need to head back to the NFL. Just Mark with Eli Ricks. I'm happy to see what he does in the spring. Secondary has to improve. That's the reason why Eli Ricks is in here. And then where does Malachi Moore fit in here also? because Brian Branch has been on a tear this year. Hall, Ja'Cory, Mechie, O'Leary, Trayshawn will be the core group. Yeah, 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 yeah. Hall, Ja'Cory, Mechie. I think Mechie's gonna go. So Hall, Ja'Cory, Leary, Trayshawn. Maybe throw Earl in there too. Be the core group next year. Let's see. How do I feel about Bill O'Brien? He's inconsistent. I mean, O'Brien has good moments and he has bad moments. He's inconsistent. He's inconsistent. We'll see what happens. Does he go to the NFL? We'll see what happens. He's inconsistent. Let's see here. Go get Dan Mullen for offense. I kind of fancy Joe Brady myself, but you can pull Mullen. Hey, pull him. It was just a disappointing end of Jaleel Billingsley's season. Jaleel. After so much promise in 2020, Jaleel. We'll have to see what becomes of Jaleel. That's still disappointment right there. Who's the new OC? We will find out. I would like it to be Joe Brady, but we will find out. Guys, he slipped on the turf. He did slip, though. He did slip. He did fall on the turf on that one play. But we'll see what Jaleel does next season, though. We'll see what Jaleel does this spring. Let's see what he does this spring here. Hall complained about playing time and he dropped some crucial balls. He dropped some crucial balls, but he also made some big catches. This spring is going to be a big spring for Hall. This spring, as far as locking all the way in, is going to be a big spring for Hall. This spring for Hall, in terms of locking all the way in, is going to be a big spring. So I'm looking forward to spring ball to watch what Hall does and what all of these guys do, honestly. What all of these guys do. Let's see here. Brady doesn't like to recruit. Don't think he's coming. Some guys weren't completely ready for prime time. Let's see here. 6-0. Stetson wins the CFP. Come on, man. Hey, I know it's crazy. 6-0. I know it's crazy to see Stetson Bennett win. But at the same time, he may not be the most explosive guy, but you don't have to be explosive to win a national championship. Just make winning plays. And that's what Stetson does. He just makes winning plays. Sometimes you don't have to be explosive, just make winning plays. Greg McElroy wasn't explosive, but he made winning plays. I mean, A.J. McCarron at times wasn't always explosive, but he made winning plays. That's what it takes to win college football. That play call had Bryce Young rolling out with no receivers to throw. It's just crazy. Honestly, our young receivers look so out of the element because of our struggles this season. They didn't get many reps. The receivers did not get many reps. They did not get many reps. Bama needs an overhaul. Okay, so let's see here. An overhaul in coaching, an overhaul in players. 6-0, what type of overhaul? Appreciate a Vector 12 there. Appreciate Vector 12 there with that $4.99. An overhaul in players or an overhaul in coaches. 6-0. Who is our running back core next year in the area? So we got here. We would have McClellan, yes. Wheaton, yes. Henderson, Gibbs, Sanders, Jamarion Miller. That'd be the running back room. Well, B.O. is gone. Yeah, I can see O'Brien out of here. Taking one of these NFL head coaching jobs. I can see Coach O'Brien out of here. I could definitely see it. I don't blame Billingsley at all. I mean, I don't blame the young man. It's just been a season that he would definitely like a do-over for, because a lot of people, of course himself, expected him to have a monster year. Just did not happen, but this spring we will see. We need some tight ends. Uh, whew. Well, Bama recruited Elijah Brown at tight end. Well, they recruited two tight ends. Elijah Brown is what they recruited, and Amari Black is the other. So you got Elijah Brown and Amari Black, two tight ends right there. You got two tight ends right there that you brought in for the 2022 class. So we will see how they progress. We will see how they grow. We will see how they look. But folks, I appreciate you guys for all that you do with us here and showing your passion, showing your love, showing your support. The Touchdown Alabama Magazine. I'm about to get out of here right now. To get ready to catch this shuttle bus here back to the hotel here. But I appreciate all that you guys do here, following the coverage, following the play-by-play, following us all season long. How do I think the secondary will look like? You're going to have Riggs, you're going to have Riggs, Kume, Kyrie Jackson, Branch, Helms, got Earl Little in here, Traquan Fegans, Terry Arnold. I just want to see how Alabama's going to look at corner. How those corner and how those corner spots look, and that strong safety spot looks if Jordan Battle takes off to the draft. Steven, do you think Nick Saban goes for a wide receiver out of the portal? Could. He could take a receiver out of the portal. Saban could. Let's see here. But guys, y'all be easy. Take care of yourselves. Be good. Appreciate all of you guys.